So, to start, we have a gift for you here. This is some honey from the hives over here.
That's awesome. That was cool.
Yeah.
That was cool.
And if you read the top, just thank you for being here.
That was a good play on words.
Yeah.
No, this is cool. Little bee, little...
yeah, because you don't want to use
dipper
metal.
thing. Yeah.
You like to use the wood.
Some people are like that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I'm going to put it right here next to my love.
And then the next thing, obviously, is we have to passport in.
Absolutely.
Make sure that we're accountable. So I have your tag here, which I'll give to you.
Absolutely. I'm in. So,
You're,
but I
you're
go.
the officer. You go upright.
Oh. There you go. You're the driving force.
It's your show. When I put this up, it'll say episode whatever, Dennis Petersen. It's your show.
Cool beans.
I'm just driving.
Lead on, go.
That's it.
Nice.
So
that means I get to work the siren and the horn.
That's right. You get to smash that thing
right.
all the way.
I'm going to stand on it.
There was a fire that got toned out not too long before you got here, and I was like, oh, maybe we'll be going and watching the fire instead. It was
I'm down.
Good. Fort Silicon Park was
Yeah.
right up the hill, and last year they had, no, it was 2 years ago, they had a good fire. They had a couple helicopters up there, and I was standing up on top of the hill watching it. It was
Up where the old sanitarium?
behind the old Western State. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
But nope, no fires to go watch tonight.
That's okay.
We'll see. I got the radio covered.
It'll be good to hear tones.
Yeah, I have a couple. They're like those Boafang radios.
Mm-hmm.
They're like portable ham radios.
Yeah, I use them at work.
Yeah, so I programmed Fire One into a few of them, and I just have it.
There we go.
It's comforting to me. I don't know what. Just hearing the tones. But I needed a break from it for a bit.
But you know, you can hear the tones and know you don't have to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I can relate to that.
Yeah. I like it so much more. I can hear what's going on, and I like to know what's going on. I don't even want to combat that with myself. Like I like knowing what's going on. Like
sure.
I feel like it's actually beneficial to the community and everybody around me that I know what's going on because I know how to handle things.
Well, your neighbors say, "Hey, did you hear those sirens last night?" Oh, yeah, they got toned out to blah blah blah.
Yeah, it was just last night. We had a friend over. We're sitting out here. And there's lots of sirens going on. You know what's going on? And nothing big, just multiple calls.
Yeah.
Like, no big deal.
Yeah, you?
Yeah. My favorite was like on the Facebook community pages, like, you guys know what all those sirens are about? And I would always post like, it's probably an emergency.
Note to self.
You know, stuff happens. But it's crazy to, like, when you're in that world for so long, like, you're privy to all those things, but you, like, the lay public really has
they have no idea
what's going on, like, at night in their small, quiet community or anything else. Like,
yeah, I drive with those people on the freeway every day.
Yeah, no idea what's going on.
No idea. Mercy.
Well, listen, man, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me, brother. I tell you, this is, like I told you earlier, I'm looking forward to this. Not only for you, but for myself.
Yeah.
Who knows what sort of hidden demons I have. And I'm willing to expose them, as it were, because after 41 years, you've seen some stuff.
Yeah.
Been there, done that. Some things I wish I hadn't done it again. Excuse me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. We can edit that out.
That's okay. Apparently my computer wasn't recording anyway, so now it is.
Are we good?
Yeah,
All right.
we have other recordings on. The phone was recording those cameras were recording. I just
Nice.
figure out the sound lighting stuff. Just gave myself some editing work to do.
You know?
That's okay. And I need to remind me to check that from time to time. Because I'm literally, my son was out here helping me. So, I don't remember. I have no idea what I'm doing.
You know, I got my granddaughters helping me with my cell phone. I can relate.
I mean, I think I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I think I know this stuff, but I'm good at problem solving, and then
Nice.
these are formulas and equations I don't fully understand, like some of the younger kids do.
Right. Yeah, so they have their own language.
Yes. So, I'm just curious about your story. Like, I know bits and pieces of who you are, and you and I we've worked together, we've trained together,
a lot of training. Yeah.
we have a bunch of good
Similar
history,
stories.
good stories.
Yeah.
The Westside days were some of my favorite of all time.
Fond memories. Yeah.
But first of all, where did Commander come from? Where did Commander Petersen come from?
Actually came from Westside.
Yeah.
At the time, Chris Goodman was the training division chief with Gig Armor in Westside. We were setting up for the first day. So we had all the engines lined up behind 558 and bringing out all the tools and tool identification. And Chris Goodman had come up to me and handed me a list and says, "Make this happen." Yes, sir. And off I went. And I was barking. And this guy from, at the time it was University Place.
Right.
Okay.
Right, because Westside was UP, Keepan, Gig Harbor, and Silver.
Right.
And then sometimes a little bit of DuPont.
Yeah, anything west of Interstate 5.
That was before West Pierce existed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back in the 1900s.
Black and
There's
white.
dinosaurs there. But an officer, I don't even know his name, officer went up to Chris Goodman and wanted to know who I was and what sort of authority I had to be giving these people orders. And I know Chris relied on me because I'm very direct.
Sure.
I'm a get it done, make it happen kind of guy.
Yeah.
And so I'm out there barking, and this guy goes, I think it was the next day, it was Saturday, Sunday evolution. Sunday he showed up, and he had a passport, and it had Commander written on it. He used a Dymo, stencil maker type thing, and put Commander on there. And that's how I acquired that name, or that acronym. We have firefighters, we have lieutenants, captains, whatever, but nowhere is there a commander. And I got that name, and I owned it. I owned it for a long time, and for now people refer to me as commander and or chief. I'm never lieutenant.
Yeah.
Okay. At the time, Gig Harbor was going through transition for their ranking and all that kind of stuff. They eliminated all of the captains on the paid side and the volunteer side. So I ended up a firefighter, lieutenant, and then on to division chief. But I look at that term commander fondly.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people grasp that and said, I'm liking that name, commander, and it's very apropos. So, and a lot of people refer to me as commander, and it's done with love.
Yeah.
And that's part of the camaraderie that I grasped onto and held onto.
It's its own call sign.
Excuse me.
Bless you. It's like its own call sign and respective rank at the same time. Respective, the position that you exude.
Yeah, and part of the thing I liked about it too is in conversation, whether you're just at a meal or at the fire scene or something, somebody mentions the term commander, there was no doubt in anybody's mind who it was.
Yeah, so there's only one.
Like, for a long time, my call sign was fire 5529. You know, my personnel number, and then fire was a thing that I would do on the radio as a delegated, because a lot of calls I went on, I was the first on the scene.
Sure.
And so I went from fire 5529, and then I called myself Chief 5529, and later on in the thing. But Commander, I put a big heart next to that. That makes me feel good. I'm glad you asked that. That was a good thing.
It's one of my favorite things about your folklore. I was telling Amber before that you were coming over. I was like, yeah, it's Commander Petersen. She's like, you guys have commanders as a rank in the fire service? Like, no, it's just him.
Yeah,
It's
you know, and he earned it.
Yes.
Yeah, and
no, it's his title.
Yeah, and no, it was an officer from University Place.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I don't remember who it was, but at that time he was kind of the leader of their volunteer group going through Westside. So I'm sure some research could probably dig up the name somewhere.
Yeah.
But it's neither here nor there. I own command.
No, it doesn't matter. It's you're Commander Petersen for life. Like it's etched in stone.
I appreciate it.
What brought you into the fire service?
My family on my mom's side, my grandfather, my uncle, were firefighters with the city of Tacoma. And so all my little guy experiences were always surrounded by firefighters. I could go down. My uncle was a tillerman on a hook and ladder truck.
Okay.
And I actually got to ride in the tiller with my uncle on the daffodil parade. And
cool.
that was, I don't know, it was 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And I was hooked. Okay, literally hooked in. I went through high school, did all the goofing on that you do in high school. Got out. Dad said, make something happen. So I joined the Air Force. Tried to get in the Navy. They said I was too tall, and so I went in the Air Force.
How tall are you?
I was 6'6".
Okay.
And they said I was too tall. Bang your head on the bulkheads. And I wanted to go on a submarine. And it shows you where my stupidity was at that time. But they said no, so I literally walked out of the office, walked across the hall into the Air Force. The guy goes, "Yeah, welcome to the Air Force. What do you want to do?" And they had something on the flight line. They had a firefighter, a guy in a big silver suit. I was going to bring some new stuff with it, but I said, yeah, firefighter sounds cool. All right, so I took an aptitude test, and I passed it with aces, and next thing I know, I'm down at Lackland Air Force Base. Yeah. Did basic training, went up to Chanute Air Force Base in Illinois in the dead of winter. Your hoses are freezing to the ground, and it was. And you had to march across base from where the barracks were, across the flight line, over to the hangar where your school was at, and you stayed inside because you literally would freeze. We had very, very little live fire training. Everything was from the book, and do as I say, when I say, how I say. I didn't have any real live fire training until I joined the Air Force to see the world. I got stationed at McCord and did my 4 years at McCord.
And you grew up here?
Yeah, I grew up in Tacoma,
Okay.
primarily. And had awesome fire service time there. Got out of the Air Force. My life, between getting divorced and life in general, I ended up moving back to just outside of Des Moines, Iowa. I was on the fire department there, and a volunteer in the little town I was in. Was on as a paid firefighter at the city of Des Moines. Fell through a roof, got hurt, left. Between being hurt and homesick and everything like that, after about 5 years, I moved back to Tacoma area. Banged around, met my current wife, Charlene, who is my rock. She's little, but she's mighty sturdy. We live about two blocks away from a fire station at the time, and they had a sign outside, volunteers wanted. Okay, so I went down and said, "Hey," my hair was longer than this.
Really?
Okay, I could tuck it into my belt.
Really?
I had a big, bushy mountain man beard, and I said, "Yeah, I'll apply." So they have a meeting, and there's like 50 people, girls and guys went in there in this meeting, and everybody's looking at each other, staring, giving you the stare down, and everybody's looking at me like, "No way." All right. So filled out the application, filled it in, turned it in, and the guy's looking at me like, "Good luck." Okay. Had my application was accepted. Let's go in for your first interview. Went into the interview looking like I did, and I nailed that interview. They were kind of surprised. Okay? A couple weeks went by. This would be the end of January. It's my birthday, turning 40. Okay? And my next door neighbor, dear friend, for my birthday present, they knew I was trying to get in the fire department. They got a hold of a lady in a barber shop. She does a lady beautician thing. They put my hair up in a big ponytail. My wife was there. They cut my ponytail off. The lady came in with the shears and only did half of my beard on one side. Did the yin and the yang thing, and shaved my beard. Got a presentable haircut. And during that time, we had to go and attend a training drill on a Tuesday night. Have to attend drill. Okay, so I went down when I still had my long hair and all that, and the guys were playing basketball in full SCBA. Okay, breathing on air. And, okay, we didn't get to participate or anything, but we were watching it. And went for my second interview, and now I'm clean shaven, and people are going, "Who the heck is this guy?" And there was 9 guys. You had an officer from every station in the harbor. That was your induction board.
Yeah.
And I get in there, and everybody's kind of looking at each other like, "Who is this guy?" And, all right, so they're asking me the 20 questions, and I answered them. And finally, my captain at the time, Bob Howe, goes, "One of the prerequisites we have is that you have to attend drill. And what station are you at?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm at 55. He goes, "I'm the officer at 55. "Yes, sir." "I don't know who you are. I've never seen you before. I'm calling you out." I said, "Well, sir, you played basketball, full SCBA?" And you could see him, "Yeah." And he said, "Yeah, I was the guy with long hair and a full beard. That was and you could have heard a pin drop."
Nice.
I passed that interview. Okay, passed my physical. Smoked the physical test. That next year, in my rookie year, I graduated number 1 in the class. I had some firefighting experience, so that helped. But number 1 in the class, I got probationary firefighter of the year. I got all kinds of accolades that year, and it set me up for the bar. There's a bar. You have to attain that, maintain it, and keep raising that bar up. And I feel over the course of the years that I was with the Harbor, I did that. And I'm proud of that. I really am. There was a point where they were hiring, okay, and they had 2 positions open. And a dear friend of mine and I reapplied, and he was a resident at the time. So we went, and we passed our oral interview. Had to go to our physical assessment, hop on a bike, and they hook you up to all these electrodes and things. I'm pedaling my ass off, going away, and they stopped me. And he said, "Oh, no, you're done." Really? I'm good. No, you're done. All right. So, and my buddy Ken, he's over in the corner. He's sweating up a storm, going like a monkey, And so I'm go out the hallway, and Ken comes out and he said, "Man, how'd you do?" And I said, "I feel great." They stopped me for somewhat other reason, and long story short, the way they had everything lined out, your heart rate, your age, there was a equation that they used. Well, I went over that line, and I think part of it was based on my age, and I actually found out I have a small hole in the valve of atrium on my heart, in one of the flaps in the valve.
Did you know that before?
I did not. This was about a week before they were going to announce the hiring. I didn't pass the physical test, and Chris Goodman was the training chief, and all that kind of stuff, and I used him as a sounding board. I was devastated. The captains on shift at that time they had bets going who would get who on what shift, and then it came out that I had failed, and I was adamant to fight this because I felt it was age biased. And Chief Goodman goes, you might want to rethink that, because even if you fight this and win, you're going to be black flagged, and it will be a detriment to you, and they will make you fail. They being whoever the powers that be.
Sure.
And he goes, stay on as a volunteer. And I said, let me think about that. And I did, and my wife and I had some pretty deep conversations. I had my heart set on it. And she goes, well, you're good at what you do. Why don't you stay being good at what you do? And so I stayed on with the training division as a volunteer, but primarily as working with the training division. That's how I got set up with Westside, and ended up playing up at North Bend all the time, going back to fire school, and when they actually, any training that I wanted, it was handed to me. We had a training bank, as it were, that you had plenty of guys there that never did anything.
Sure.
So let's just say we robbed from Peter to pay Paul. Hey, my name is Paul, and I benefited from it. I'm thankful for it. I learned a lot, and hopefully everything that I've learned, I've been able to pass on to other people. My fire career as a volunteer was fruitful for me. I've got my wall of shame at home. All the plaques that you get every year and whatnot. And a few years ago, they were having a little mini academy for the paid staff, the guys that are just coming on. I walked in on the class downstairs in Dogwood, and walked in, and the class commander, he pops taller than me, and then he addressed me and said, "How can I help you?" And I said, "Well, my name's Dennis Petersen. I'm a retired chief, and I'm just looking in on the class. If when the classes are available, I'd like to speak to your instructor." And it was Tracy Lyons was there at the time. Tracy's looking at me, giving me the stink eye, and finally he goes, "You're going to have a word with the class commander at the time." So I said, "Tracy," he goes, "you need to introduce yourself to the class commander." I said, "Sure, no problem." And my introduction was I had him go upstairs in a hallway with all the plaques. There was, 50 to 100 plaques on the wall. I said, "I want you to go to all these plaques, and I want you to count how many times you see my name. When you get to 20, I'm good. Yeah. That's I know the password. Okay." And he came back down and said, anytime you want to come in this classroom, you're invited. I said, thank you. And it was all well and good. And life's been good for me while I was in as a volunteer with Blue Carbon. That was 21 years with Blue Carbon. And then fire service, Des Moines, Iowa, Fontenelle, Iowa, and then with Gig Harbor, yeah, it was almost 41 years total service. So, seen things, done things.
It's a long time. That's
me in a nutshell.
and it's a trajectory that it was more difficult than the one that you would have preferred.
I think so. Yeah.
Not less rewarding, but
yeah, rewarding. That was always
different
there,
rewarding.
but that's not why I did it. Okay, I was with the community, all the textbook answers, but it was self-rewarding knowing that I would go on a call and knowing that I did the best I could do to help mitigate somebody's bad circumstances. The fact that we were called there, I had that's their problem. Okay, I'm just there to help them with their problem, not necessarily to fix it, but to help make it better.
Just try to make it better.
Yeah, and try to make it better. You're having a bad day. Husband fell out of a tree, grandma died, on the toilet, whatever. The plethora of calls that we've been on and seen and done. As long as I know I made their day better, them stopping by the station, a week or two after, a month after, bringing you cookies or here's a big pot of spaghetti, crying and saying thank you. Yep. That's all you need. I don't need that. Cookies are good.
Yeah, and that's it. Like, it doesn't matter what the call was. Like, I tell people, like, what was like, being a firefighter, like, you run a bunch of calls that were hard, but you probably ran a bunch of calls that were like a bunch of just frequent flyer type calls, right?
Oh, many of
and
those.
Of course. But, like, I would always say, and I'd even say this to my crew back in the day, like, look, if somebody calls 911, for them it's one of the worst days of their life.
At the
it
time,
doesn't,
yeah.
like, we can't, like, of course we can compare it to other calls and say this is a BS call.
It's helping them cope.
But they're having a problem.
Yeah.
And our job is to take our giant toolbox on wheels down to their problem with our team of problem solvers and see if we can make that problem a little bit better, or that situation a little bit better for them.
Back when I started in the fire department, stationed out at McCord, back in the day, we actually rode the tailboard of the engine. At 3 o'clock in the morning, you just got woke out of a sound sleep. It's raining pigs and chickens outside. The wind's blowing, and you're hanging on for dear life. You got to use hose straps to hang on to, and the driver would always bounce over a curb or do something, and it launches you. Many times I ended up in the hose bed of the engine. As you're doing 40, 50 miles an hour down the road, and you're flying around back there. Seeing different things, a guy likened to that. When you're on the tailboard, does your cape flutter more? And I had to think about that, and I said, it doesn't flutter more. But when you get off the tailboard, it's usually frozen in shape. But riding on the tailboard, trying to put your bunkers on while you're going down the road, times were different then. Because of those times, safety standards have become more. Now we're in enclosed cabs. You're bunking up inside of a cab. The people that I spent time with, my captain out at McCord was also a volunteer captain on Fox Island as a volunteer. And we shared a lot of good times and memories once I found out he was out there and shit. Oh, man, and I started putting two and two together. And some of the clippings I was going to bring to you from the newspaper, he was my command officer. We had a jet went off the runway at McCord and blew the afterburner off the jet. We took it up and crashed in the middle of some apartment houses. And it was a good save. But the damage that went through, the notoriety that we received from the public and Coma News Tribune, 4 or 5 pages in the paper. My mom saved all the pictures. And, big silver suit with the gold mask on.
Send that stuff to me later.
I will.
I'll put it in there.
Oh, yeah.
Like I'll
Okay.
edit it.
Yeah. I've got it in my wall or something. It's there. It's all good.
Those are stories.
Yeah, it's part of the story. Good times. My time in service was great. Everybody has their good days, bad days, but my bad days, I'll count them on one hand. And after 21 years of service, that's a good time. Yeah, that's a good time. When I left, I felt fulfilled as far as the fire service goes. The reason I left was my dad was diagnosed with prostate cancer. He had it bad, and I'm the firstborn male child of my family and my dad, and so on and so forth. So I took care of my dad, and 2 months after my dad passed away, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and that's when I took my leave of absence. And I was homeowner association president. I was president of our Corvette club. I had a lot of big hats that I was wearing. Felt like Bartholomew, and I had to make some choices and get rid of some hats. And the fire service was a big hat, and probably would have made the biggest changes. And so I chose that. I turned my gear in and said, no, I'm done. No, retirement. So we'll segue to the rest of the story. But that's me in a nutshell, man, as far as fire is going.
How long have you been away?
Away from going on 7 years. It was 2017, late 2017 when my dad passed away. I was diagnosed in November of 2017, and that's when I turned my gear. So between then and now, more segues. Tell you about the marijuana that went away. I can tell you the dark places.
Yeah.
I can tell you about where I was a year ago from now, and where I'm at now. I'm in a very good place now. I feel that I am. And it's not just trying to talk myself into it. I know I'm in a good place. And my road that I was on, I'm an open book. What I went through is textbook. And I'm not one of 100 guys that went through that situation. The book says you should read this. Now, I tried that and it doesn't work. I'm on these pills. I'm doing chemo and radiation and all that. So I didn't do any of that. Because my major problem was not my cancer. It was a very slow growing. You're going to live another 20, 25 years. By that time, you're going to be 90, 95. You die from cancer, yeah, you had a full life, right? Well, my problem was not the cancer. It was actually in the prostate itself. a normal man's prostate's about the size of a walnut, the size of your thumb. Mine was the size of a large softball, 14-inch softball. And that caused me a lot of physical issues that had to be addressed. Emergency catheterization 4 times, and once in Hawaii, every time I was on vacation. And complications were caused, now you're on vacation, you're drinking a lot more in copious amounts. The trigger was the alcohol, and it would cause my prostate to expand, and it closes off and you would refill. Now you can't pee. Now because you can't pee, your bladder's expanding, and the multiple issues with that. That's a whole nother story. Whole nother episode if you want to talk about it.
But it's part of your story.
That is very true, and why I got out of service, private service.
Yeah.
Would I go back in? Probably not. Now, I'm 68 years old. I'm more than willing to teach a class. I'm more than willing to share my wisdom, which I think I have acquired. I'm willing to tell stories, as part of my teaching program. I'm willing to share my experiences. I'm willing. Somebody has to be willing to ask me the questions.
This is off the record, but I think something that you and I should be doing is teaching a volunteer academy or something like that.
Hoorah. Sign me up, bro. Sign me up.
Off the record.
My record's kind of scratchy anyway.
Yeah, but
I got you. Yeah, I think we would do well. Yeah.
well, we did well.
We did.
There's a track record of it.
And you know what? We can show people things and teach them.
Yes, and that's what I would have the energy for.
Hmm?
I don't have the energy for all the other stuff probably.
Yeah.
But I would be so game on teaching some new people
Classroom stuff is big time.
how to be, and not just in the fire service, but like
In life.
just be in life.
Yeah.
These are the things to pay attention to.
There's a lot of parallels.
There's the rule book and the right thing to do are not mutually exclusive. Okay,
Right.
like so.
No, I got you there.
Let's make sure that our critical thinking is on point.
I got you, man.
Yeah.
Color me in. I'm purple.
Let's take a quick break.
Absolutely.
I still want to make sure this is recording.
I use the word absolutely a lot. It means something. It means absolutely.
Yeah.
Do division chief. So, but I look at that term commander fondly.
Yes.
And
Nice. We're doing it. And everybody's going to be going, what do I do with this long-haired
Where's
freaky
Flat
freak?
Top Petersen?
Yeah. I've got pictures, yeah.
So yeah, like after this, like send me pictures, like send
I will.
me images of the news clippings and all those things.
Yeah, yeah.
And then obviously send me some pictures of your time in service because I want to put all of that in there.
Cool beans. Yeah.
Like I want to watching some of my first few through. It was like I took the liberty of doing a bunch of venting, and I want to get better at making sure that I let the other person tell their story.
Sure.
I'll have my moments to vent, but like I want to celebrate my guests and what they accomplished.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So,
Well, while this is one thing, feel free to call me back. For whatever reason, we've got, I think there's a lot of knowledge, wisdom that we could share.
I'm not fucking joking about it's something I've thought about with DuPont. Well, I managed the reserve program there. I did the volunteer program at Sylvan. All of my reserves that I had in DuPont, they all went on to good careers. Like half of the staff and half of the career staff in DuPont were my reserves.
And that's one of the things, as I look at Westside, and
Yeah.
the many years that I helped at Westside, and seeing where those people are, the ones that have gotten hired. I'm talking officers with Tacoma Fire, chief officers with Gig Harbor Fire, I can drive into a station and they go, "Hey, Chief, how you doing?" I say, "Good. I need to use a bathroom." Or now, the guys that I'm seeing that are command officers on the engine and or chief officers that recognize me and acknowledge me is from the time I left,
Yeah.
in a very dark place
Yeah.
to the time where I'm at now. And then I'm good, but segue.
Yeah, the people that we used to work with they're all leaving.
Watching the guys that are retiring,
Yeah.
Who's filling those shoes? Yeah, the people that we trained.
Yeah.
In my case,
Yeah.
the people that I train, because the gig harbor has a tendency to promote from within. They do go outside, looking, commissioners right now is an open spot. But I've been toying with that real hard, man. Hard.
I'll come help you campaign.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
Seriously.
yeah, all right.
Like, we need people that know the things to be in the thing.
You need people that know things.
Yes. You like working in municipal settings. Most of my fire career, they all thought that they knew all the things. Like, you know who Mike Keoe is?
Yeah.
Long time,
Yeah.
like, Dragon Slayer Battalion
Yeah.
Chief in Lakewood. He lives right up the street. I visit with him all the time. And he, as I was leaving DuPont, he was actually taking over as chief.
Nice.
And so I felt like, all right, I know who Keoe is. Like, he'll say what needs to be said. Like, this place is in good hands. I felt like I was the last, like, plant,
There we go.
flat planter to go. So I wanted to make sure that there was somebody there.
You use the term Dragon Slayers. That was my class name going through the Air Force in Fire Academy.
Was it?
In the Air Force. And, you get done with class and everybody, gets together and 1, 2, 3, Slayer. I've got my class t-shirt that I would wear up to North Bend, and now it's tattered. But I wore it all the time because that was my leotard minus the cape.
Sure.
It was Slayer. Right? That's when I was young and I was full of whatever you wanted. Believe me, I was full of it. And my God, Awana was extreme. I excelled at everything. And not to be braggadocio about it, but I feel I did well at most of the things I did. I could throw myself out of a 3-story window down a ladder and or not. Hanging onto a hose and rappel down the hose, I did all that stuff. They taught you how to save yourself. And said did they? What did they?
Yeah,
They taught you how to save yourself physically.
there's layers. Yeah, we should record this stuff.
Yeah.
There's layers that.
I was just trying to push a button.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a chunk of ice.
Yes.
I have ice balls. Do you have ice balls? Well, maybe I do. I did. Yes. I just got your message about where to park, man. I'm sorry.
I forgot. Normally we have 2 vehicles in the driveway, but there's only one, so like. So
Okay.
that's perfect.
Yeah, I'd have figured it out. Yeah. Apologize for that.
I had to put some dry pants on.
No, I was just over there checking. You got a nice area over there. For
Yeah. So that deck
Yeah.
that I built around it, that was a friend of mine. She was demolishing her old deck,
Okay.
build a new one. And I went over and looked at all the material and I said, if we just flip them over, they look brand new.
Yeah.
So literally, that's just flipped over
Nice.
from the deck that she had.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good on you,
It's
man.
free.
It's a win-win.
Well, and it's just the problem solving stuff. Like I like to take something and
When you can
just
reuse it.
how can I look at this and make it better,
Yeah.
and then it becomes its whole. That's one of the things I miss from the job is the problem solving, like going on something, like all right, what do we got here?
What do we got? Yeah. And the problem solving, acting out of the box.
Yeah.
Yeah. I use that term all the time. Don't put me in a box. And if you do, be aware that I know that there's 6 sides to that box. In your box, my box is multifaceted. And I'm more than willing to use any and all of those facets. Stand by it. So it's all good.
Yeah, that was like what I was saying earlier. Like I explained what being a firefighter was like. You have a giant toolbox on wheels with a team of. I like to say like what we actually did. Like our title was firefighters.
Right.
The amount of time that we spent actually fighting fire,
Small.
very small.
Very small.
What we were professional problem solvers.
To the best of our ability.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and the better the team, the better the problems could be solved.
Right.
Like it was really nice to have somebody that had like a construction background, or somebody that had a mechanic background, or something like that, or even like one of my firefighters, Kelly. She was on my shift for a long time. She's now the captain
Yes.
of my old shift.
I'm a friend of hers on
Yeah,
Facebook.
she's a wonderful human. She's a tiny human, so she was able to do things that 6'4" Zach and I couldn't do. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And-
different perspective.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you have a team of problem solvers that all have special, unique skill sets and abilities and dimensions and whatever.
That's the best team you could have.
Yes.
Best team you could have.
That's been the most frustrating thing for me in life since leaving the job, is not having that team. Is not being able to replicate that team in the same way. Like we attempt to, I feel like
All you can do
my
is try.
partner is really like she's one of my things. I used to stay on shift all the time is like with my crew is like our objective is to anticipate each other's needs.
Mhm.
Like if we're operating, if we do enough training together, we can anticipate each other's needs. So when we show up on an incident, the only time I'm talking to you is if we're doing something different than what
Right.
we've trained to do.
You can read each other.
Yes,
Yeah.
like you know what I'm doing, and we would like rotate positions too. Like you need to know what my role feels like. I need to know what your role feels like, and I need to show you that I know that I can function in your role
We
too.
need to be able to rely on each other,
Yes.
knowing that we know because we trained that way.
But if we're all operating like, and when I played football, I have all these like football jerseys I just got out for my son the other day of my old jerseys from different teams I played for, whatever. And I love telling you about football and firefighting. They're so similar because you have a whole team, and if you have 11 players on a field, and if one of the 11 doesn't do their job right, like it changes the whole
Yeah.
dynamic of everything that you're doing.
Right.
So for me in football, like I I was never good at one position, but I was really good at knowing all of the positions. So I was really good at knowing where everybody needed to be all the time. And so I would go anywhere from receiver to guard, or fullback to tight end.
That's what made you a good instructor.
Well,
knowing things.
it's the it's I think I don't know. I'm looking for the words. I think there's just I existed at an altitude that was paying attention to things more than just what was right in front of me.
Yeah, you had a broader spectrum.
And it's hard for me to operate with people who aren't at that same altitude. And that's why I miss the fire service. When I'm around you, when I'm around my old fire service brethren, like, we talk the same talk, we understand the same things, we're looking at the same stuff. Our hypervigilance is all the same.
Yeah, we finish each other's sentences. We know what we're going to do a second from now.
Yes.
We know it because I think we trained the same, even though we may have been at different calls, different situations, but the playbook was the same.
Yeah.
Well, sure, you have to call an audible.
Yeah.
Okay. As an officer, you get off the engine. Forward in, we're going to take the hydrant, pull the red line to the front door, pull the blue line as for your exposures. That's a call. Happens textbook every time. You have to be able to know that your crew is receptive to you calling an audible. It changes the play slightly, but being confident that you know you can say that and know your crew will respond appropriately, and then give them the accolades afterwards. Yeah, that's good strokes for everybody.
And the best way to get there, though, is to train. Like, so we do the same training, and then every once in a while, you throw a bunch of fucking wrenches into it, right? Just to see how everybody's going to respond to a bunch of crazy stuff going sideways, because we all know it doesn't matter how many times we train on the same scenario, that scenario is actually never going to play out that way on any call.
Right. I don't like using the words always and never.
Right.
But that's about as close as you're going to get to a never.
Yeah.
It might be close, but never.
I was telling my son, like, as he's gearing up to play high school football, like invest in the training, invest in the hard stuff.
Yeah.
Because those things are what will give you the confidence to go into a game and feel like you can adapt to whatever you need to adapt to. If you don't do all of the training and you don't do all of the, you try to vet every worst case scenario possible. You try to
think yourself to death.
Yes, absolutely. And you're like, what did we miss? What did we miss? Like,
right?
There's one thing I was listening to a podcast the other day. There's a SEAL, a Navy SEAL, he was talking about, which I've subscribed to forever. Like, those guys, before they go on a mission, like, every one of them, it doesn't matter their rank or how long they've been there or anything else, they go around and be like, what's the problem here that you see? Like, I want you to find a problem.
Yeah.
I want you to find a problem with what we're doing here so that we can talk it through, so that we can figure out how to address it, whatever. And it doesn't mean that you're going to find all of the problems, but what it does mean is that we're going to practice this, and we're going to think through it to death so much that when we go in, and same thing with football, like Pete Carroll is this way, like, so when we go into the game, we're so confident because we've done so much training and so much thinking that it doesn't matter what gets thrown at us, we're going to figure it the fuck out.
Hi, you. We're going to ask you some questions, okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Mascot first. That's enough. He'll just...
He's good.
Yeah.
I love him, man. Good guy.
He's
Okay, I
totally love him.
Is this working?
Yes.
Okay. So that's my check. There you go. Because you asked me to do that.
Yeah.
So I did.
It's working.
Good. You said you didn't want to go back through.
No, I've been
Oh, man.
paranoid about it all, so I've been paying attention.
Yeah, no. It's all well and good, brother. It's working good. Nice. Yeah, I'm not used to looking at myself on the screen. God, that's what I look like to everybody.
My son was out
That's
here
embarrassing. sort of.
testing it all with me. I won't even tell you what he said about himself, but like, yeah, when you're sitting here looking at yourself
Yeah.
while you're talking, like, I'm talking to you, but I'm not looking at myself, so I don't know what I look like. I do look like someone.
You know, I've told a lot of my friends that, you know, I'm not a guy that looks in the mirror all the time. I'm really not, you know, very rarely. But I think if I was walking down the street and I saw myself walking down the sidewalk coming towards me, I'd kick my own ass. I'd just haul off and crack the one. Why? I said, that's just an internal mental thing that I have. You know, just, you know, even a doppelganger or whatever coming towards me. You know, I'm not aware of anybody that's ever said, I saw your doppelganger. I see tons of them every day of other people, but I never of myself. You know, and if there is somebody that says, hey, that guy looks just like you, I look at him, really? No, thank you, please. But enough said.
What's been the hardest part about being away from the fire service for you?
I'm glad you asked me that because I almost started crying right there. When I left Gig Harbor, I was never acknowledged. To this day, I've never been acknowledged for my time, for my service. Thank you. Retirement party. I've seen tons of guys retire, primarily on the paid side. You know, they make a fancy plaque. They, you know, that means nothing to me. Just the simple acknowledgement. That's when I said there was that dark area. That's the one thing I think I harbor. I don't want to use the word resent because I don't resent that. But it would feel good. You know, get that pat on the back. Get that, you know, you made a difference in my life. You know, I'm a chief now. I'm an operations chief. I'm a training chief. I'm whatever. I'm now an officer on the rescue unit, whatever the fact is. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for your experience. Thank you for that plethora of stupid stories you told during academy. I learned from those. And I find myself telling other people the same stories. Yeah, the chief told me this one, you know, blah, blah, blah. You know, he fell through a roof and landed on a glass table, whatever. I was never acknowledged to this day. That is my dark place. One I wish I didn't feel. And I don't dwell on it. That is part of my, I guess, part of my coping mechanism, for lack of, I don't know a proper term for it, but that's how I deal with that. I don't dwell on it. I realize we're all human beings. We each have our own way of doing things. I've got other things to think about besides, I didn't need to treat you that way. You know? Why am I not acknowledged? I've got other bigger fish to fry. You know, so I don't resent it, but I just wish it would. I just wish it had happened. Having a chief officer walking through a Safeway store. You know, I got guys that all the time. Hey, Dennis, how you doing? Or, hey, chief. Hey, commander. Okay. How you doing? I'm doing good. And we move on. I'm acknowledged that way, and it makes me feel great. It really does. But I guess it's not I didn't have the formal send-off. For lack of a better way of putting it. Then you're officially put out the pasture. which, since it didn't happen, I guess I'm never in my pasture. So that's probably the only thing that would be a dark place for me. I enjoyed everything I did. I enjoy acknowledging other people's accomplishments. I enjoy that. It makes me feel good. And I remember when you used to do this, when you were in class and you were a major muck-up and you're dropping, give me 20, brother, okay? And you do. But it was a learning experience. Hopefully you learned from whatever story I told after that. I've got tons of stories, good and bad, that I used for me as a learning experience that I could pass on to others. And I got a story about this. Why do we use 3 points of contact on an engine? I saw somebody fall off the engine going around the corner, and guys on the tailboard, with somebody falling off and getting run over. They were hurt bad. And it's one of those things you put in your head, you go, oh, I'm never doing that. And then it happens. So, and unfortunately, I've never fell off an engine.
Sure, but you see those things as avoidable.
Yes.
So then your instruction is like, look, this is avoidable. Don't make these mistakes.
Accidents can be avoided.
Yes.
Training.
And why? And understanding the why. Like the training part, like do as I say, but then also giving the why. And then you were good at telling the story, to make sure that the why made sense.
Exactly. And I think a lot of people on the different years of the academies that I help teach, they look forward to that. Why? You know, the chief's got something to say. Well, let's hear what he has to say. You know, let's laugh, or not, or no. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get us off track. But let's get back to the lesson. Here's what we're trying to teach. Yeah.
But that translates, like, as I raise my own kids, as I, like my son, my youngest, you know, he's a teenager now.
Good kid.
If he understands the why, the buy-in is much easier.
Oh, absolutely. I'm firm
And
believer
so
in that.
when he's at school all day long, there's so many, like, we do this because I said so, and stand in line, and right? Like, and I'm not bashing schools or anything, but I'm like society exists in so much of a way that it's like, just stay in line and we don't need to ask questions. This is just the way that we've always been doing
I was brought up in a military family. Do as I say, when I say, how I say it, do it now.
Yes.
Think hard before you ask a question later.
Or else.
Or else. That's how I was brought up. I try to use that knowledge to, when I'm teaching, here's the agenda that we're doing. We roll hose a certain way, couplings in, couplings out, whatever have you. But this is why. Now they understand why they have to do it that way. They're 90%, I'm just throwing a number out there, 90% more likely to do that.
Yes.
Because they understand why. Because at some point in time in their life, in their career, somebody else is going to ask them why.
Yeah.
And now they know why.
Yeah.
Why do you do that? Well, I don't know. The book said so. No.
I've been able to invest a lot more time in raising my son than maybe I would have been if I was still on the job. And so I've given everything to that, but what I've taken from the job has helped me be a better father.
Cool.
Particularly as an instructor over the years, or as a leader, or whatever. And so much of that is like, look, if he understands the why, the buy-in, like, look,
That's a win.
buy-in versus compliance. Like, how do we get to buy-in? Compliance is not ever going to lead to the buy-in. Like, it's demanding, it's whatever, and we need that sometimes. Like, we need that to set foundations for things. But then we need to be able to let people understand what it is they're doing and why they're doing it this way. And then, on top of that, give them the space to say, like, actually, what if we did it this way? This might actually be a better way.
Give
Because
them some ownership.
the worst thing I've ever heard in my life is, well, because we always did it that way. That's terrible.
Well,
That's
why
like-
did you do that?
well, we used to ride tailboard, right? And so,
Because we didn't have a back seat for you to ride.
yes. Okay, so we've adapted,
Yeah.
you know, and we're always going to be adapted. We should always be. Every time I reorganize all my nerd stuff in my thinking chamber here, like I'm trying to make it better than it was before.
Yeah.
Like, we're always trying to make things better than they were before. Every time
I
we
like that.
do a rig check or clean a station or run a call that we've run a whole bunch of times, we always try to do it a little bit better than we did it before. And if we're focused on that, like that's how growth occurs. But you don't understand the importance of the growth part if you don't understand the reason why you're doing something.
So, I had a good instructor that asked me, when you've got all your bunkers set up, in class, and they're sitting out in the hallway, all your bunkers are set up a certain way, why do you do it that way? Well, repetition, you get muscle memory. Why do you put your turnout gloves in your left pocket? Why do you put your hose strap in your right pocket? Why do you do this? Why do you do that? So muscle memory, and when you're on scene with a bunch of other people that have been through the same class, whatever year it is, you recognize when something's out of place. Oh, that don't seem right.
It's called a pattern violation.
Yeah, you don't. That ain't right. Okay, you might not recognize what's not right, but you know that something's there. Your gut instinct
Something's
says,
sticking out. The pattern violation. Pay attention to that. What's going on?
yeah, and you know if through a training scenario, God bless us, I've been in a real scenario where you go in to rescue one of your own. You got a firefighter down. When you go in, when you go there and you find that person and you're strapping them up, getting ready to haul them out, you know you can go to their right pocket. Their hose strap should be there. You know that they got this on the other. When we practice SCBA, when they're locking in, you're tag teaming each other on air, you're doing all these things. Muscle memory, we've always done it this way, okay, quote unquote, works. And then when it does work, okay, we're going to reinforce that and we're going to continue teaching. What I tried to do as an instructor was, okay, yeah, it worked that way that time. Next time, maybe not. Probably not. When you go home and lay in bed and you constantly beat yourself up asking the what if, what would I have done differently? I was on this call, I wish I hadn't done that, or I wish I had done this. The call might be only 45 minutes long. You go back to the station, another half an hour, 45 minutes, putting the rig back in. You go home and lay in bed for 3 or 4 hours awake and beating yourself up. How many times? Too many. But that's what made us what we are.
Yeah, and that I think the important thing to learn from those types of experiences. It's not so much the like, damn it, I did this wrong, but like, why did I do it this way?
Yeah.
It's the whys. It really always has to be about the whys.
Try to make yourself better. I
Yeah.
didn't do it wrong.
Why did I do it that way though? Like, did I do it that way
I agree.
because my crew looked like this versus like that? Did I do it that way because this hydrant was out of service? Like what changed the things that made me get out of rhythm?
Yes.
Because it's all about rhythm. And that's we've always done it that way. That's the foundation, right? Like, for sure.
We have a very smooth call.
We need to have a default mode
Yeah.
that we default to. Like like we do this, we set our gear up this way because we know it's going to be that way all the time. We know that, like, we don't have to think about those things. Like, we're operating. I know I drive everybody nuts in the house all the time because I still operate in a way that's like, look, if all of my things are where they need to be, where I expect them to be, that means that when chaos occurs, because life is always willing to throw chaos at you, when chaos occurs, I don't have to worry about the little things.
Right.
They're already in place, so that I can address the bigger problem, so that I can put the fire out rather than doing a whole bunch of trivial nonsense around the fire.
Right. I concur with that. Well done. I like the way you put that.
But I get that that can be abrasive to people that don't understand those concepts. So nowadays I operate in places where that's not quite the mindset, and adjusting to that is,
You have to keep yourself pliable.
yeah.
Look at me, man. They call me the Playboy kid, or Play-Doh kid. You edit that one out.
Either or, they're interchangeable.
You have to be able to adapt
Yes.
to any situation, and 9 times out of 10, because of the profession, you have to adapt immediately. And when you're asking yourself that 20 questions over and over, we're not asking for answers other than yes or no. Because if the answer is yes, I already know the answer. I already know the reasons. I just need to know yes. That allows me to go to the next question. It's just that yes, no boxes as they go down. No, you go back over here, and yes, you go over here.
Ones and zeros.
Yeah, ones and zeros. Yeah, absolutely. There's too many people like that, and I think a good firefighter, I'm going to go most likely into the officer realm. A good officer is pliable in that way. Not only in his tactics, not only in how he trains his people, how he talks to them privately in the office and or sitting at the dinner table. You have to be pliable, adaptable, and your people will recognize that and embrace it for the most part. There's that always never part.
Yeah. Pliable.
Mr. Silverberg.
Yeah. I feel like my experiences over the last few years, well, look, so we pretty much ended at the same time. So 2017 is 2017 in April. I went into work and I was just like,
You're done. Yeah.
I didn't understand why.
Yeah.
So I went to Maryland, specially designed facility specifically for firefighters, had our union logo on the front door, like all that stuff. And
Checking boxes. That's all it was,
there's
brother.
so many checking boxes. And I didn't get this for a while, but I actually did heal there, but it wasn't because of the clinicians or the people that
Not
were,
what they do.
It was other brothers and sisters that I met while I was there, who I was like, oh, you feel the same way I do. So now I don't feel alone.
Yeah.
And now, like the last 2 weeks or whatever I was there, we just sat around a fire out. We called our buildings that we stayed in, we called them station houses, but we had this fire pit out behind the station houses, and we just sit out there and smoke cigars and tell stories and cry and laugh and just bond.
You know,
And those people I still talk to on a regular basis.
and that was probably more healing than the clinicians.
It was. Oh, for sure. And so now I carry that, though. I carry that experience of being the patient or the client or whatever. I understand what the other side feels like so well that now as a clinician, I have a really hard time with things that aren't putting the person first.
You get it, see, and you've given yourself the schooling and the knowledge to implement further in the future, to make some things happen. And I'm looking forward to that. I really am. And if I can be a resource to you, reach out, brother. Reach out.
You already are.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate doing this. I really do. I know you had a green piece of paper somewhere. Oh, there it is. That had other questions. You
It didn't have other questions, just like
I know we're kind of freeballing it.
No.
Yeah, it's all good.
I like it that way.
Absolutely.
And this is like, I like people having, I like to watch two people having an organic conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're telling the truth when it's organic. When you script things, it just seems artificial.
I'm just answering the question.
Yeah.
No, it's of the things I remember you guys coming through recruit class. You know, I was a new guy myself. I came on with Gig Harbor in '97, so I'm the new guy that's being put in a position to instruct at that point in a junior level. But I could answer that textbook verbatim. I could show you how to do a particular rotation verbatim. I could teach you how to throw a ladder, extend it verbatim, like a robot. When I would look back at myself, how could I have done today's class better? I started to recognize the robot, and some of my people, the resources that I had available to me in another circle. I used their wisdom to help guide me, and I'm very fortunate that way. I've had probably 4 or 5 what I'm going to call circles, similar to like the Olympics. We're all individual circles, but some of those circles interlink with each other. And like in the Olympics, not all the circles touch each other. They're spread out. But if you follow the circles, they're all interconnected some way, somehow. We're all related to each other somewhere, somehow, or we've all had that experience, whether spiritually or physically or whatever. We've all shared that, but we all have our own perspective. And by sharing our perspective, it helps enlighten us. Or, I like the way you said that, or the word that you use. Chief Line, Tracy, I know he's a dear friend of mine. I heard him as my first
favorite human being.
First name basis, Tracy. He replied to something I put on Facebook the other day, and he says something. He used the word plethora, and it was one of my favorite words at the time. Plethora and a cornucopia. And just the way he replied, it put the biggest smile on my face, knowing that a dear friend actually used my words against me. That made me feel good. It really did. I'm looking forward to us going up to North Bend and playing, as it were, at whatever level. Just getting back together with some familiar faces. Some of the old school guys, I'm going to call them old school. I mean, we're not talking Chief Garden old school, but our era, as it were.
The Westside group.
Yeah, the Westside group. I get memories on Facebook. I took pictures at every graduation. I took pictures of during class. There's memories that pop up in the recruit class. And I'll throw it out there. I remember these guys, and I'll mention a few names, the ones that I can remember. Okay. I was just telling a story today. A recruit class that we had showed up to graduation, and I want to say it was down there at Stoughton, Sunnyside. Yeah. I think that's the name of it, Sunnyside. Yeah. Showed up down there. I had my Class A uniform on. I was high and tight, but I had my fingernails were painted bright fire engine red. Man, I mean, Chinese blood red, whatever color you want to call it. They were like beacons. Okay. And what had happened is, during that year, an engine company that was assigned to me was all females. Okay. Challenging. One, because of their stature, they're not as tall. Their musculature, I guess that's a word I just made up, okay, or whatever. They weren't physically able to stand on the tailboard and grab the hose bundle and throw it on their shoulders, step off, turn, grab the tail, pull it out of it, doing all the stuff. They weren't able to do that by themselves. So, thinking out of the box, how, as an instructor, help them to succeed, one, in the lesson plan, and two, make them be able to do it. How can they reinforce themselves? Teamwork, baby, teamwork. She's going to go up there, get your ass up there and help her. If she's stepping off the tailboard and she's stuck, put a boot in her ass and shove her off the tailboard and grab that tail for her. When she's turning around, hand it to her. Okay? It was like that. Throwing ladders. Extending whatever it was during the class. Came to final evolutions on the last day. You have that little competition between everybody. Randy Singletary was my lieutenant at the station at Good Harbor. And he had his engine company. I had mine. And I don't know. LT, we're going to smoke you guys. Yeah, I know I got a bunch of ladies here. They're fierce. They're like Amazons. Little short Amazons. And you go, all right, game on. Well, what if you lose? I'm willing to win. I'm going to win. But it's got to be, what if you lose? I'll paint my fingernails red for graduation. Final evolution comes on. He beat me. He didn't beat me. His team beat my team by 1 second. And it came, and I remember Goodman just being all super smiley face and laughing because he waited and reading off everybody's times, and he goes, yes, this team only won by 1 second. I'm going, yes, we won.
Make sure that was said out loud.
Oh yeah, he played it, and he saw the rivalry that we had, friendly rivalry, and he named off that Randy's team had won, and I felt my heart sink. But the day before, all the ladies got together down at the station. We had a last minute, hoorah meeting, for lack of a better word. every single one of them had their fingernails painted bright red. And that made me feel good. That made me, I'm a part of their team. And they go, yeah. And so I showed up down at graduation, had my Class A's on, my hands were, my hands were in my pockets, and you couldn't see. And then finally, Chief come up to me, Chief Line, Birdie told him.
Of course.
How you doing, Petersen? And reach out and shake my hand, and let me see your hands. Okay. No, flip them over. And then they were bright, I mean, glow in the dark red. And he goes, that is awesome. Hoorah. You know? But tonight when you go home, get that stuff off your hands, man. That's embarrassing. I said, no, it has nothing to do with embarrassing. It's team building.
Yes.
It's me showing my team that we are synonymous with each other. We are a group. There's no...
Your ego isn't so high that you can't exist with it.
Yeah, and then that's part of the team building.
Yes.
And that's what made a group of young ladies as individuals were not physically capable, but as a team, they were insurmountable.
Yeah.
There it is. By 1 second. by 1 second. And you know that
time, maybe you do it a couple more times,
right?
It might turn out a little bit different.
Right? I've seen these ladies move on in their life. Triage nurse in the ER. Very, very good at her job. She chose to leave the fire service, but moved into the medical field. Another one, very prominent business owner, doing extremely well in her business. I still follow some of these people. I'm not lurking.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not one of them weirdos, as it were. You know. But I do.
I follow everybody.
Absolutely.
I'm curious about how they're doing, and
it makes you feel good.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes you feel good. So that's one of my good stories. Not that I'm going to paint my fingernails red anymore. I'm not ruling out toenails. I'm just saying my fingernails. It's all good. I've had some good times. We always refer, when we get back to talking to some people, that we've had good calls, we've had bad calls. And I asked me to define that. Oh, we just had a good call. Oh yeah? The house burned down. Well, it didn't burn down, but we crispy crittered the hell out of it. And yeah, that was a good call. He was looking at me like, what? No, man, the guy's having a bad day. He's lost most of his worldly possessions. His house, yeah, his family's good, but how do you call that a good call? Okay? And I start checking myself in how I talk about things in a public setting.
Yeah, that's a huge one.
Yeah, and we all know what a bad call is. We all know that. We have multiple bad calls. A good call was we had a house fire, rang out. I'm brand new out of the crew class. Call goes out, you go down to the station. And you're waiting for somebody to show up. Got the doors open, I'm bunked up, I'm fully ready to, let's go. I'm waiting for somebody to show up. None of the residents were home. Okay? Here comes the assistant chief, Chief Watson. Comes down and he's rolling in. He heard his tones go out for a chief call. Came into the station. He's looking around. He sees me, and you could see him mouth the word, Yeah. Like, is there anybody else here? No, sir. All right. He goes, climb in. He had me hop into the officer seat, and off to the call we went. He grabbed a hydrant. We ended up doing exposure protecting. We melted all the plastic off the side of the house, but saved the structure. That was a win. I was told, yeah, but we melted all that stuff. And he goes, no, but that's rebuildable. Some guy will come in the next day and put that back up. I mean, that was a good save. But then coming back from the call out, picking up all the hose, doing we did mop up, we did all the business, going back to the station, he's driving back, we're both wiped out. He goes, you did a good job. That made me feel good. From that point on, my career, it just moved forward. Having a positive reinforcement from somebody that you hold as huge. You're a chief officer. He's wearing a white hat and he's rolling out. He's driving the engine now. He's a driver. He's the operator. Yeah, me sitting in the officer's seat doing officer call stuff. Now I'm looking through the book, looking where's the closest hydrant, where's it, blah, blah, blah. And as he's talking on the radio, he's focusing on the load, he's focusing on me, teaching me at the same time. I applaud that. Good job, Chief Watson. Yeah. Good for him.
That ties back into the whole, we need confidence to go handle things. And we need others to help build up our confidence. And back in the Westside days, most of those departments really relied on a lot of their volunteers.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All of them.
Absolutely.
All of them.
All of them.
So building confidence in volunteers, I thought was harder. That was more challenging than when I started teaching career people. Because the career people, you own them. I mean,
absolutely.
They're like, you have a sticker on your car just like mine, so you have to do what I say.
Oh, by the way, you're getting paid to do it.
And you're getting paid well. So,
very well.
But as a volunteer, we need to give you confidence at the same time as motivating you to keep coming back.
Yeah. Bingo. Yeah. Well, that was one of the things I realized as a volunteer officer, and then finally as a volunteer division chief. I'm in charge of all the volunteers. What's their motivator for one, coming to calls, coming to drill,
right,
blah, 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 and seeing the numbers decline? There's a hell of a lot of training that has to be done to maintain the level of expectation, one, from the public, and two, if you've got cross-staffing with career firefighters and volunteers, if you're standing next to each other in uniform, Joe Public should not be able to tell the difference between either one.
right.
Okay? If they ask them a question, both of them should be able to answer that question the same. And I held myself to that standard and tried to hold others, and that was extremely difficult.
I feel that way now as an intern, as a clinical intern. It feels very similar to being a volunteer firefighter, because I'm literally paying to be there. Nobody's paying me to do this job, and I'd have conversations with people over the years, I'll say I did 19 years in the fire service. They're like, well, how many of that was career? What does that matter?
And that's my time in service.
Because majority of it was done with that sticker on the back of my truck or whatever. However, the hardest calls I ever went on were as a volunteer. The calls that ended up affecting me long term were when I was a volunteer. I went on more fires as a volunteer than I ever went on as a career. You know why? Because I got to choose I got to go to all of them if I wanted to, and when I was a volunteer, I did. I went to everything.
Absolutely.
I never missed the big calls. So, but as a career person, well, I'm only there 9 days a month, so those are the calls that I get, no matter what.
And were you allowed to go on a call when you were off duty?
As a career person, no.
See, and
No, our union contract, and I was our union president for a number of years, and and I also ran our reserve program, which was, oh my gosh, like
sure
conversations that I had to engage myself in then. But I always thought, like, somebody would be like, you don't get to count, like, you don't get to put your service time on your Class A from being a volunteer. Like, what? Like, oh, I'm sorry, you're right. I should go back in time and tell myself that fire that you just were up on a 3-story apartment building doing a trench cut on, that didn't count because you were a volunteer.
I had a hard time being able to justify time spent as a volunteer, how I held myself accountable versus now as a chief officer in charge of volunteers, how did I hold them accountable? I had to lower the bar a lot just to retain numbers of volunteers.
Yeah.
When I came on with Gig Harbor, we had like 180 volunteers, right? A big department. When you go to an association meeting and you had maybe 10 career guys there, and everybody else was volunteers. Good times, blah, blah, blah. But then as Gig Harbor grew and changed and morphed and they started picking up volunteers into the paid side, the paid numbers were growing exponentially. In the last 4 or 5 years of my volunteering with Gig Harbor, they were hiring 12 and 15 every year. From outside, from inside. I mean, people were scrambling to get hired on with Gig Harbor. Gig Harbor is a phenomenal fire district. Phenomenal.
That was the department. If I could pick a department that I would have wanted to work for, it was Gig Harbor.
They had a lot. They had the opportunity to be able to pick and choose the people that they wanted to hire. You go into a chief's interview and he'd ask you the 10 basic questions. If you went to somewhere else and they asked you the same questions, your answer is graded differently depending on which fire district you're at, because they're looking for a particular mindset. They're looking for, how are you going to fit in not only with our community, but how are you going to fit in with the rest of our duty crew? That answer would work in Gig Harbor, but it wouldn't work in Hallsville or wherever.
Sure.
As a chief officer, I was involved in the hiring process for the paid staff. Sometimes I'd be a patient in a medical call. I'd be over in the ground flipping around, and I'd stuck my finger in the light socket or something. Or I'd be a part of the interview board asking those questions. And I applaud Gig Harbor from the fact that they appreciated my ability to be able to give a straight answer to the board. Once the interviewee left, giving my input, and I appreciate that. I felt like I was held in high regard in that, and I appreciate that opportunity on a number of different levels. My time in the fire service with Gig Harbor was done with pride. whether it be going to the high schools at the end of the year, handing out scholarships. The association would give out. We'd go through the dozens of notebooks, for different people trying for a scholarship. We'd pick one up or two for every school, and I had the opportunity on a number of occasions to go and present the scholarship. Was involved with a Boy Scout troop doing Veterans Day, 21 gun salute down on the waterfront. Involved a few months before that because of my time in the military, and I was part of the drill team at the court. You got these young teenage boys, and you're barking at them, giving marching orders on how to do that, how to turn your feet a certain way, and on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, they all snap there, and how you present that to them. Now you're giving them a firearm, and granted they're shooting blanks, giving them a firearm, and then counting off a cadence that they recognize. You say ready, aim, fire. They all fire at the same time. You're not getting like 7 different shots going on. The bugler doing his thing. I have great memories of that. Some of my favorite pictures, my sister showed up at the thing, and they had us off in the back, doing our thing.
Do you have any pictures of those?
I do, yeah. I'm very proud of them.
Yes.
I'm in my class A's. I'm the only volunteer that I'm aware of that got a Class A uniform. And as a chief, and I got that from the division chief before me. He was called assistant chief. He had a Class A uniform. And one of the things when he tapped me for the position, he goes, yeah, and you get a Class A too. I said, sweet. And I was prideful. I don't like using that word referring to myself, but I had a lot of pride in that. Dressing up in my Class A, my mom and dad seeing me in my Class A uniform, my mom recognizing her father as a chief officer for the culminating his Class A, and seeing that. I've got pictures of my grandma and grandpa and myself and Charlene. We mimicked that picture. I'm in my Class A's, got the white hat, brown gold badge, the whole thing, and Charlene dressed up in the black dress, nice necklace. We posed the same in the pictures. My family, my cousins, everybody, they stop and it takes their breath away when they see the pictures. And I did that. It made me feel good. I was extremely proud of my grandfather, extremely. And the best way I can honor him is to emulate that. The best I could. I learned as a young boy. I'm 5 or 6 years old. I can remember the things that he would say, riding with the ladder truck with my uncle, sharing stories today with my family. A family thing going on today. Everybody had their own recollection of my grandfather before he passed away, and sharing that, and everybody's perspective. It was fun. And some of the stories I told, I didn't know that. Well, I'm not trying to keep it to myself, but it's mine. Yeah, I own that. Yeah, you can have it too, but I own it.
Those stories, though, that's how we all live on. Like to tell the stories, to keep telling stories.
Always. That's how they stay alive.
The people that are gone, but also the people that are present. We're planting a flag with a story that gets to carry on.
A dear friend of mine said, excuse me for a second, on his deathbed, he said, I'm dying. I'm dying today. But I hope my legacy lives on. I remember holding him, a dear friend, and saying, as long as I'm alive, so are you. And you have a friend like that. And I when I lay in bed and I'm slowly falling asleep, and when you're saying your prayers, right, and you acknowledge the people that mean something to your life, you know, and you might go days, weeks without thinking a particular thought. This person or action will cross your mind, and you'll dwell on that for a few minutes, and that's what keeps them alive.
Thank you.
So, that's all well and good. I'm sorry, I gotta wipe my eyes, man. That was, and that's what I hope. The people around me, my dear, dear friends, my family, my kids, as long as they can mention my name and smile. I learned this from my friend Dennis, her dad, uncle. I've got my blood family that of my uncle, and then I've got my dear family. I refer to myself as the weird Uncle Dennis. No, I got that weird uncle. Yeah, he is. but it's done with love.
He paints his fingernails and everything.
You ought to see him when he gets dressed up. And be careful what you wish for. But this is good, man.
It's good. The last thing I want to ask you, something I was thinking about. Like, I don't know if you remember when you first came out here. Have you seen the movie Top Gun Maverick?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I had that soundtrack playing today,
Okay.
and I was just like, I watched it. I think I watched it last night. Was it last night or the night before? I don't know. It's become a default movie to me, just like the first one was. Like a movie that I'll just turn on because it makes me feel good.
Yeah.
It's an enjoyable
There's a number of
movie.
movies like that.
But I thought about you while I was watching the movie the last time. And I thought about you, and I thought about myself, and I thought about, like, it's crazy. Like, we both kind of left the fire service around the same time. So we're, like, 7 years out or whatever. Yeah. And watching that movie, like, like, you knew how good Maverick was as a pilot. Like, he's a good pilot. Like, and I feel like you were a good fireman.
Thank you, brother.
And I was a good fireman.
Thank you, brother. Yes, you were.
And there's just this, like, I feel like it's something that probably all service people or anybody who ever wears a uniform goes through after they leave or separate from it. Like, just that. I would give anything to be called back.
Well, there are those moments.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, absolutely.
Like, you know, if, like, man, if shit hits the fan or whatever, like, I'm going back down to the station. I'm going to see how I'm going to help or whatever. Or maybe it's like, hey, we need to run this volunteer program, and, like, hey, would you be willing to come back and help, or to come teach it in some way? Like, yes.
Yeah.
Like, and I know that's, for lack of a better way to describe it, it's probably a pipe dream, but it's also like that feeling of, like, what it would feel like to be called back, whether it happens or not. The way that makes me feel makes me proud of the job that I did.
Absolutely. As you were stating, I'm thinking to myself, we have so much more to give.
Yes.
So much more. And are more than willing to do that. I'm the person, whatever it takes to make that happen, which is a term I use all the time, make it happen. I've got it on, that's a whole nother story. It's a guessing game of when that would happen. We want it to happen. There's a part of us that needs that to happen. Yeah. But I know from experience in my brother, our wants and our needs are two different things.
They are. Here's what I've learned. Whatever you think things should look like, or will look like, or need to look like, they never happen that way.
No.
They never happen the way that you
Imagined it.
imagined it.
No.
You know?
There's too many twists and turns in the road.
Yeah. So that's what this is for.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Like if we're able to talk to one recruit along the way, and they hear something by listening to this or whatever else that helps them have a good career trajectory.
Right. Well, I am an open book.
And this is why I like podcasts, because like people get to speak their side of who they are. You know, it's not just somebody else's version of what you hear about who somebody is. Like, here we are, I'm speaking me and you're speaking you.
Right.
And I feel like when we're able to do that, people gravitate towards us. Like the fact that you're here means that whatever it is that I'm trying to do or create is like, that's exactly what I was trying to do and create.
Yeah.
It's just different than what I thought I was trying to do and create. Like I didn't think that this was going to be a thing.
Different picture.
I don't know I have no fucking idea what I'm doing. I have like
But
all
you're good
this
at it.
random stuff here.
This is awesome, man.
But that's the thing, is that being a fireman,
Yeah.
that taught me how to just problem solve. Like, it's just a problem, figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you didn't do it, so what? You didn't pull your pre-connect very well that time, well, fucking make it better next time. And so the next time, you're like, well, maybe I should load it like this so that I can grab it here and then get it on my shoulder that way.
You remember that?
And
I loaded
we're
that
just-
coupling backwards.
Yeah, we're just fine-tuning things after we start doing it. We have to do it, and we have to fail.
Daily.
And that's where we learn stuff. We don't learn stuff by doing it right the first time. We don't learn anything. You know, we learn in those situations, arrogance. Like we learn unconfined arrogance, where we're operating in places where we think that we know what we're doing, but we really don't, because we haven't been humbled yet. We need to be humbled along the way. And you and I have been humbled by some grand experiences in life.
Great words that you just used there. I'm going to use the word accused. I was accused of being arrogant. I had to check myself hard. One, what caused the person to say that, or the chief officer? And I can only, it changed me, as well it should have. One, I had to check myself, okay, what caused a person to say that? And I think a lot of it was how I delivered my message. The tonal inflections that I use, in some points in our instruction, there are absolutes.
Yes.
And you tend to enunciate the absolutes, and that's where the arrogance was misinterpreted. And I use that word defensively. I don't believe I'm an arrogant person. I may come across that way. For that, I apologize. It's not my intent. But I feel that I'm an overly intelligent person compared to the general arena. We have logic. We have to.
It's critical thinking
Yes.
at an altitude. It's looking at the whole picture subjectively or objectively, not subjectively.
Yeah.
Like when we're operating in these
In the
under
absolutes,
subjective
yeah.
principle, like the SOAP format when you're writing your EMS reports,
Yes.
right? Like
Yes.
it's that taught me so much. It's just here's the subjective information, here's the objective information, and like
How did you?
oftentimes the two are not the same,
Yeah.
right? So when we're operating in the subjective, like that's a recipe for failure. Like we have to
There's
have
the-
these decks
There's the
of
plywood.
cards here, and someday I'm probably going to do it in dramatic fashion on an episode. But like, we have to constantly be throwing our cards on the table, sorting them out,
Mhm.
seeing what the variables are for each card, each hand,
It's a giant poker game. Right?
and then telling the truth about it.
Yes.
Telling the truth about what do these cards mean? What does all of this mean? You know, and if we're operating in places that are trying to avoid throwing the cards on the table because of some political motivation or because we need to pass a levy or because whatever,
I'm being judged.
yeah, or because I want a promotion or because like whatever the reason is, you know, then in my opinion, we're doing a disservice to humanity. I believe that we are here to learn, and that is our only real purpose.
You
is
do
to
that
learn.
daily. Yeah, absolutely.
If we're not learning, what are we doing? We're just existing then.
Mhm.
If we're just existing, then what is our purpose?
My life changed a year ago when I had my operation for cancer in my prostate and all that business. My life perspective, how I view things, how I talk to people, my level of empathy that I would present to somebody.
It's a word until you understand it.
I recognize my change. I recognize it today. And I hope it makes me a better person. I truly do. A number of people in the last year, dear friends, that have recognized my changes, just in the way I talk to them, or how I present a problem, my problem solving. My tonal inflections when I'm talking to somebody. I used to be a yeller. Well, part of that was because I couldn't hear. I've got new hearing aids, so that's awesome. I'm losing myself in thought. I feel I'm a better person than the last year, and I look forward to next year. I know I'll be an even much better person. Better to my friends, better to my family, better to my wife, better human being all around. When I walk into a room, people smile, as opposed to laugh. You know, like, oh shit, he's here again. I was like, oh shit, he's here. Nice.
I used to refer to you as, to me, when I would, you know Dennis Petersen, Mayor Petersen, the harbor? It's like the Will Ferrell of the fire service.
Thank you, brother.
I would constantly refer to you like he's the Will Ferrell of the fire service. Like he's that tall, like he kind of looks that way, and he's like he's the Will Ferrell of the fire service.
I suppose I'm supposed to say thank you.
But your humor was perfect. Like,
Yeah.
to me, it was perfect. It was
Cool.
spot on. It was whether it was intentional or not, it seemed to me it was very calculated and came at the right times, and it was so off the cuff and funny that it was like, that's the humor that needs to bust up the rigidity.
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
And I loved that. Like, I loved being around you. Like, if I knew you were there, I loved being there.
Thank you.
Like, I knew that it was going to be a light, fun atmosphere.
I appreciate you saying that. Good times, great memories, great people that we've served with, people that are still there, some people who are no longer with us physically.
Sure.
I've enjoyed my life, and I look forward to more.
Well, and your last year, like, so much of that, I'm sure, is about this, as it has been for me, like this inward journey, like this self-reflection of, you know, I'm not trying to memorialize myself. I'm just trying to tell the story. I'm trying to remind myself.
That's you in there, man. Yeah.
I'm trying to remind myself of the stories that I've been through. Right?
Yeah.
Like we did some cool stuff, and we should always be proud of that.
Absolutely.
No matter whatever is now, like we should always be proud of the good things that we did, and we have good stories to tell. And as long as we're telling those stories, we can help influence.
People are listening,
and
they are listening.
They might not be listening yet, but the good thing about podcasts is that, like, once one catches hold, they'll come back and listen to the other ones.
Yeah. Because they might see episode 7.
Oh yeah. They'll probably, like, this isn't even going to be a thing until I get to, like, episode 700, when I actually have legitimate equipment and whatever,
Right.
where I can do this right. I'm like doing it in my backyard.
This is
with, like,
awesome. I love it.
A sunlight and random GoPro cameras and whatever. I'm making the best, but, like, isn't that what we do with, like, some dilapidated fire engine that has the worst of equipment?
Yeah,
like, I'm still going to do the job.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you give me. I'm still going to try to do the job the same way.
Are you getting style points or what? You're getting it done.
Yeah. And it's, no matter what, it's about the message. It's the conversation. It's the humanity.
Right.
It's the humanity that, like our experiences and our stories are, they should never be lost.
You know, as long as you keep sharing them with whoever will listen.
Yes.
And
And that's why I was telling you earlier, like, I don't care who listens. No matter what, I'm documenting something for my kids to refer to.
Mhm.
Right? Like, if I happen to not be here for whatever reason, or something, whatever. Like, I want my kids to watch me having a conversation with Commander Petersen.
Good on you. Good on you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Because that will resonate with them in ways that
You can't even imagine.
that helps grow them in ways I can't even fathom.
Can't even imagine it. Yeah.
One Tracy Line story, really quick.
I'm looking forward to
Yes,
this.
so we're at it. Drove around at 5:0, and I was out there as an instructor, and I had my Silicon recruits, and we're doing stuff. And I was with all my arrogance and my crew chief helmet. I remember Tracy would be like, "What is a crew chief? Like, did you think that through? Like, when you came up with crew chief, like, were you trying to, like, alphabetically be ahead of a division chief? Like, I don't even know what a crew chief is. Like, I don't know, it was the best we could come up with because they wouldn't let us be lieutenants. Anyway, so he would always give me a hard time.
Well,
The
you
crew
give
chief-
everybody a hard time.
about everything.
That's who he is.
That's how that's supposed to work. But, like, I was out, and I was having him set up like a portable monitor or something like that, and he comes out, and I'm like, I have a can of dip, so I'm snapping it, and I put a can in, or a dip in my lip, and Chief Lion walks over, he's like, "Hey, can I get some of that?" I was like, "You dip?" He's like, "Yeah, can I get some of that?" I said, "Sure." I handed him the can. Hops it way out into the woods. Like, what did you do that for?
That's for some money, man. I can see it.
So
See
far.
I have it.
And then just stares at me. Like, what are you going to do? Like,
Some of my
the other ones was like when we'd go up to North Bend, and God forbid we ever had like a PSO with us, right? Who had to go up there for their mandatory live fire training once a year.
Billings.
Yeah, Billings or whoever.
Yeah.
And Billings was just over here the other day. It's like he's one of my best friends of all time. He's super difficult to be a human with, but he's Billings. Anyway,
That's who he is. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're up at North Bend, and Tracy's like divvying out assignments to everybody. I was like, okay, so in Gig Harbor, you guys are up on the 5th floor. Keep in, you guys are going to do the warehouse. UP, you guys do search, and Silicon. I don't know, like your volleys take the 4th floor, and then the rest of you stand by with your guns and get ready to shoot the fire when it starts attacking.
I can see him saying it with the straightest look on his face. Straightest face.
Yeah, and then just turns around like back to business.
Oh man, the tears of laughter. Oy, oy, oy. I'll tell you.
It's good. We should.
You know, Earl, this feels great. Talking, sharing with somebody who's on the same level, has been there, done that. Not only from the training side, which we did a lot of together, but also on the live action stuff. 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, tones go off, and it's on. It's on. The stuff that we've seen that have molded us into the human beings that we are now. I used the word empathy earlier.
Yeah.
It's a strong word for us. It's a very strong word. And there's a lot of things that we do that we check ourselves on daily. How we treat our family, how we treat dear friends, how we treat strangers in the store.
Yeah.
I'm proud of who I am and who I've become. There's things in my life that I'm not so proud of. You know, that we're human. I don't mean that as a defensive statement, but we're all there. And as long as we can come to a point where we can forgive ourselves and move forward, that's what I'm all about.
Yeah. And I think the fire service is like, I didn't understand the empathy. There's no way that I would understand or have the empathy that I have now without my time with the fire service.
Yes, I give you that.
Like,
absolutely.
You see the other side of the world.
You see people at their worst.
Even in the nicest house, down the nicest street.
When it's burning down, or you're pulling a car out of the middle of their living room. Well, by the way, their little girl was having a birthday party in that living room. How do you deal with that? You're on scene. Yeah, there's a mask that you put on. Your cape is billowing. You are the man or woman. There's some strong female leadership out there that can handle the situation. That's a scenario that we did in class or whatever. Now, in real time that's happened, when you get back to the station and you're like, and you know this well, you get back to the station, you're checking the boxes, are you okay, are you okay, are you okay? Now, are you? Well, you got to ask yourself that question. And I know this is part of your world. And then this is the reason that you're having a lot of these podcasts and what you're moving forward to do. And I applaud that. I hope I can be a part of that.
I hope you're a regular guest.
I just call me any day.
Yeah, like,
And just and I'm willing to sit here with you and a group or whatever that it morphs into.
yes. I want to do that.
Yeah.
I absolutely want to do that. Giving a round table.
Yeah.
Would be so fun.
This makes me feel good even right now. I get
Yeah.
But thank you, brother. Seriously. Thank you. I appreciate you, man.
Love you, man.
And I love you. Yeah. We've seen things, we've done things that bond us, not only as friends, but as firefighters, knowing we have each other's back at any given moment. Making a phone call. I saw you on Facebook, and you give a little laugh or you throw a word out there, the secrets that we have amongst each other, stuff that we talk about behind closed doors at the station. The camaraderie, I miss that. I miss that terribly.
I haven't been able to replicate it. And this is like part of doing this.
Yeah,
is my attempt to replicate
and it just makes me feel good. It does. I lost my thought. The timing of this meeting with us instrumental in some of my own self-healing and thoughts that as I ponder different things that I said earlier in this podcast, that I'm not sorry I said them. I wish I'd have said them a little bit differently. Yeah, and being okay with that, wishing I'd said them differently.
Future episodes we'll get to the more blunt versions of the things I have to say.
Yeah, you want to do blunts together? Let's do it.
That's I feel like that's part of what this is supposed to be. Like, it's supposed to be this space where we're just throwing the cards on the table.
Yeah, let's be free. Let's be open. Yeah, absolutely. I'm all about that.
Yes, I want to give. I'm not trying to be anything that I'm not, and I'm not trying to copycat anything or anything else. But I also feel like I've been through enough, and I've gained enough experience, and I know that I'm good at talking with people. I just want to provide a space for people to tell their story. And I just want to start with the people that I know that have good stories to tell and have experiences, but also like the people that influenced me, the people that motivated me. Like, you're Commander Petersen.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you. Commander Petersen's on deck.
Everybody popped off. Yeah. And I kind of relished that feeling at that time, and even now, when you walk onto the drill ground, and you got 25, 30 recruits, young, males, females, didn't matter, and you just step out into the hallway, and then you walk out under the drill ground, and everybody's eyes are on you. And as soon as you step through the door, the deafening silence that you hear, because they're waiting on what do you have to say. Are you going to make it a bunker drill? Are you going to tell us some goofy ass story? Are you going to make me laugh? Yeah, are you going to make me laugh? Or are you going to make me jump? What are you going to make me do? Yeah. And I kind of like that idea. I mean, whether you're in the classroom, that's sitting down there in Dogwood, headquarters building, Tracy's up doing his chit chat, and then you're sitting in the back of the classroom like this here, and you stand up and you walk out in the hallway, and you're checking everybody's bunkers. you see gloves are out of place, or you see the helmets backwards or something like that. And all you do is you open up the door and you just look at Tracy and he kind of gives you the wink and you bark out, bunker drill. And you stand there with your foot against the door, hoping nobody breaks your foot. I relish those times.
Sure.
I really did.
Sure.
It made me feel good knowing I had the authority as well as the responsibility of being able to guide and manipulate their minds in a positive manner. As the years have gone by, watching them grow, even though I'm out of the fire service picture
For now.
seeing them as they've gotten promoted, I just got their 15-year pins, just got their 20-year pins, their 25-year pins. Well, I guess now they're retiring. Cool beans. Played with the idea of being fire commissioner for quite a few years. Put it out there, talking with career staff, talking with volunteers that I wanted their opinion, talking with residents on my street, seeing the changes that have happened not only with Gig Harbor, but a dear friend with Key Peninsula, who was commissioner of Key Peninsula, but firefighter for Gig Harbor. Without saying names, everybody.
I know the name.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That value his opinion, his perspective helped guide me in my path down that. Fire commissioner, man, that's a rocky road. It's very rocky. But if you're wearing the right kind of boots,
If you're there to take care of the people doing the job, and that's it.
there it is. There it is. So, thank you, brother.
I'll come fucking campaign with you.
Yeah. We got a place right now.
You're the like if I were gonna create a fire district, like you would be one of the people I handpicked to be a fire commissioner. That's
Cool.
how things work.
Yeah.
That's not how things work.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you for that. That
Yes.
makes me feel good. Good.
All right, man.
We're done. Well, for now.
For now, episode
We get like 18.
Commander Petersen episode 1 is concluding,
There we go.
but future Commander Petersen episodes are inbound.
We're saying so long, not goodbye.
Yeah. We're saying we're going to go to the day room now and relax, and we'll be back with more later.
Right. Thank you, brothers, sisters. Yeah, appreciate you. Love you. Thank you, baby. It's all good.
Love you.